Welcome to Find Myself Free, the podcast. I'm Ellie Young, alcohol-free life coach, mom, and athlete. I'm dedicated to helping others change their relationship to alcohol by sharing my journey of transformation. Fascinated by my own capacity for change after decades of gray area drinking, I'm passionate about sharing what I've learned from neuroscience and positive psychology to help you break free from the drinking cycle and unlock your true potential. Hear my personal stories of triumph and struggle as I navigate raising two boys, finding myself after 40, building a business, and doing it all alcohol free. From women's health and cycle syncing to fasting and biohacking, this podcast is your roadmap to a healthier, purpose filled life that starts with changing your relationship to alcohol. It's time to embrace change, find balance, and create the life you were meant for. Welcome to Find Myself Free. Recording here. Hello, and welcome back to Find Myself Free. I'm Ellie Young, your host, and this episode is called Mindset Magic to Power Change. So this has been on my mind a lot because I am in a season of really big growth right now. And I'm always curious when I'm able to get into this place because it's very seasonal for me. It's very much it's very monthly as well. Like it's completely affected by my cycle when I'm in phases of really like I can't get enough learning and I want to share it and then there's other times where I'm much more reflective. But right now also seasonally, like on an annual basis, I am in just this like hunger to learn and hunger to grow phase right now. And I want to share with you how you can kind of initiate that kind of momentum in yourself because so much of the work we do and so much of our own personal growth is tied to our mindset. It's like 80% of how you show up in the world is the thoughts that you are thinking, the conversations you are having with yourself. And what I really notice, especially in the summertime, is a lot of people don't feel ready for change in summer because summer is just filled with so much distraction, so much, fun and parties. And of course, because my big transformation that I offer people is to cut alcohol and to really work on your foundational health. Especially for women, hormones are literally at the top of the pyramid, controlling all other aspects of your health. So it's literally like every woman should have a cursory knowledge of your hormones and how to balance them, especially in perimenopause. But a lot of people just don't want to do that kind of stuff in the summer, and they're not in a receiving state of mind during the summer because there's just too much fun. And so what I want to point out to people is that oftentimes when we are waiting to be ready for change or like, okay, I'm going to take that on a few months from now. I'm going to take that on when the stars align and this thing in my world stops happening and I have time back and I do all these things, right? We are really allowing the external world to dictate our priorities. And I'm totally guilty of this. I'm a mom. It's summer. My kids are all over. I have exactly 1 hour to film this before they get home and start causing chaos in my house. So it but knowing that I can be really intentional about setting up my life instead of living in reaction to my external environment all the time and letting it dictate how I prioritize my life. And again, this is all outside of you. This isn't happening inside your mind. So how do we get back to a place where we are using our mindset to dictate our priorities? And when we do this, when you get into a place where the conversations you're having with yourself are that this is how I'm prioritizing my life because I'm worthy. This is how I'm prioritizing my life because I deserve this, because I love myself, and because I know that I need to come first. I need to take care of these foundational things in my health in order to have all these other opportunities open up in my life. And if we're not doing that, if we're waiting for the world to align perfectly to provide you the time, the space, the permission, I see this a lot of people. They are waiting for somebody else in their life to give them permission to work on themselves, right? They're like, "Well, I can't because I have these responsibilities." For mothers, it's really like, "Oh, I've got children. I have to put them first. I have to, I've got a husband, I've got housework. I've got all these things." And I am totally 100% guilty of this. Procrastination cleaning. Does anybody do that? Like, I basically feel like I can't start working on my job if there's laundry to be done or messes to be cleaned up. And I'm like, oh, I can't work on this business unless I take care of all my mom jobs first. And I'm sometimes waiting for somebody else to tell me it's okay to work on, to no, put the business first. Start working on yourself first. That's okay. Nobody else is going to grant you that permission except you. And I learned this a couple years ago, but I still struggle with it, right? I still put myself in this old box of guilt and shame when I'm not, giving and self-sacrificing all the time. And that is a mindset that it can be cultivated and that can be changed. And so what you really want, I want you to examine is just what are the words you're telling yourself when you're saying, "Oh, I don't have time for that right now. No, I can't do that. I'll wait until summer's over and my kids are back in school. Then I'll start the diet. Then I'll stop drinking. Then I'll yada yada yada." Right? What voice is saying that you can't do that right now? What story are you telling yourself? And oftentimes for women, it's this story of you aren't first. You and it's selfish and it's greedy to try and take more. And even that language of taking, I was in my podcast last week with Farah. She was so specific in the language that I used about, and this was actually not even on the podcast. It was in a conversation we had previously where I was like, I'm carving out time for myself this summer instead of it being like, no, there is time for you always. You don't need to carve it. You don't need to take it. It's just there, and it's for you. And demonstrating this to my children that, hey, mom does things for herself. Mom takes time for herself, and it's not coming at a cost to anybody else. This is just the way things are. And that modeling that for them, that, hey, in life, taking care of yourself should be a priority because from that, everything else comes out. Everything else is going to be generated from a healthy and whole person instead of a person that is waking up, living in reaction to their circumstances all the time. Like, oh my gosh, I slept in and my kids have to get to camp and I need to walk the dog and there's dishes in the sink from last night. And you're just like, I guess I won't go to the gym today. I guess I won't go do yoga. I guess I won't, you know, hop on my bike and do these things because all these other things are taking priority, right? It is about creating intention. And I recognize that I didn't really live with intention until I stopped drinking. And the correlation I've made there in hindsight really is that I didn't have access to my intuition. I knew how to work really, really hard. I knew how to push myself. I knew how to excel in the stories that I had been raised in, right? This is what success looks like, right? You get a job, you get good grades, you succeed in your sports. Those were the stories that I was still trying to live out. Like, I am successful if I can do these things. As a mom, how many stories are we telling ourselves about what it means to be a good mom? And if we're not doing that, we're somehow failing, right? But these aren't our stories. These are subconsciously programmed into us our entire lives in the people we've surrounded ourselves, in the culture that we've witnessed, in the families we've been raised in, right? And we're letting that dictate our mindset now. Like, oh, I should do this. I should do that. I should. Lots and lots and lots of shoulds, right? And the energy of a should, it's stemming from guilt. It's stemming from a place of like, if I don't do this, I'm a bad person. I should do these things instead of like, I get to do these things, right? And it's a very different energy. It's very much that growth mindset type of energy. And again, how do you cultivate it? It comes back to intention. How are you? And, I go to yoga a lot now, and they always say, like, set an intention, set an intention. And so it has to be more than just like this hot moment where, like, I'm going to set an intention today. You have to spend time imagining this future self that has the life that you want. They are living the life you want. What does that look like? What is that? And oftentimes when I ask my clients to do that, they're not like, "Ooh, I'm laying on a beach with a cocktail or mocktail in hand and I've got no responsibilities and I'm just able to relax and chill." I mean, yeah, maybe some people want that once in a while, but that's not the life you want to live day in and day out. A lot of times it's just like I have time to exercise, I have time to eat really good clean food, time for my loved ones, time to do something that fills me up, purpose, passion, right? Connection to friends. And what does that look like? If you can't visualize that beautiful life that you want to live because of there's all these shoulds, but I can't do that because I should be doing this instead, then you have work to do in clearing that runway and examining those subconscious stories that are telling you you can't do these things, right? The mindset you currently have is producing the life you are currently living. And if that's not if you are just like uncomfortable in this life and you're like, God, I want something better for myself. I know there is more for me than just this kind of groundhog day of whatever you're doing, right? You have to start with the mindset. You have to start examining the subconscious beliefs that are holding you back, that are telling you should or shouldn't do these things. You have to stop letting the external world dictate your priorities. And one big trick I teach all my clients too, and this is something everybody should be doing, is like, do not get on your phone in the first part of the day, in the first morning. And I'm super guilty of this because a lot of times I am filming my sunrise walk. So I'm not following my own advice a lot of times. I'm like, ooh, I'm just going to record this quick video. A lot of times inspiration strikes when I'm out on my morning hikes and I want to like talk to people and share just how like inspired I am, because truly that's how I wake up every morning. I feel really, really inspired. And this is no accident, right? That I am It's not like I am just built this way. I have cultivated this life. I have cultivated an internal experience for myself that is really fucking pumped every day. And I have to pinch myself every day because I'm like, it didn't used to feel like this. I used to wake up all mostly hungover, headaches, dehydration, looking at myself in the mirror with bloodshot eyes and a puffy face and having to be like, you better fucking work today, girl, because you can't use this as an excuse. You can't use a hangover as an excuse to not go out and be a good mom, be a good partner, do good at your job. And so I would just push through all of that stuff, pretending I was okay, and always at odds with my body, always at odds with my mind, but just trying to just use my hard work mentality to overcome this type of self it was a misalignment, right? And when I got alcohol free, all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, I don't have to feel that way anymore. And I get to wake up feeling like I have integrity. The things I want to do today aren't coming from a place where I need to correct for bad behavior. I'm not living in reaction to the choices I made yesterday and the environments that I'm now placing myself in today, right? Now I am like curating my life. I'm like I still love to visualize myself as a 50-year-old. I'm 43 right now. For some reason, when I visualize a future self, she's 50 and, she's got some gray hair. It's long. I kind of have this like hippie vibe. And I am like running retreats and I'm helping women and I'm in like a beautiful place of nature. And I have my kids there with me. I have my dog and my husband. And I'm like, I have imagined this retreat center for a long time in my future. And I don't know if I've shared this on my podcast yet, but like this year, this spring break, my husband and I purchased land in Costa Rica. It was not planned. It was not something we were actively seeking out. We were just on spring break in Costa Rica. And this opportunity presented itself. And all of a sudden, it was like my manifestation, my dream of where I see myself when I'm 50 years old it was like, this is the place. This is the spot. So this has been an exciting couple of weeks for me because we closed on the land back in May, and we just recently secured financing to actually start building um, this. We're building a home and two additional little homes on the property, and it's going to be a place of where I can host a retreat center. It's going to have a little yoga shala, a gym. I'm going to have a cold plunge. I'm going to have a sauna. It is going to be a wellness experience. Um, and I have dreamt this, and I just can't believe it's actually coming true. It's very, very, very exciting. But I have visualized this for a long time, and I think it's that hope that pulls me forward. And I look at that person and I go, how is she living her life? And why can't I start living that way right now? How does she feel? Instead of just being like, I will feel good once I get to the place where I'm going, right? We're always like, once I get the thing, once I get this accomplishment, I'm gonna feel a certain way. And then I'll be like, yeah, I did the thing, right? Once I lose those 10 pounds, um, once I stop drinking, I'll get there. But it's like, what does that person look and feel like? How do they behave right now? And so we're reverse engineering it. We are imagining this future self that is living the life that you want to live. And we are getting in touch with that person. We are like energetically reaching out, and there's a cord that connects you to this future self. And I want you to just fuel that cord with positive energy. How are they feeling? How are they thinking? What does their lives look like? How are they connecting with people? What do they wake up thinking every day? How do they arrange their day? And what is stopping you right now from living that way, right? Again, a lot of times when we visualize this future self, it's not like they're just bathing in money and they have no worries or no cares in the world. No. Like a lot of times we're denying ourselves the experience that this future self that we're after because we think we're not there yet. But you have to start thinking like that person now. You have to be your future self now. That's a Benjamin Hardy book that I love and I use a lot in my coaching because it is a mental trick to imagine who you could be right now and let that future self pull you forward energetically. And there is science to this because when you are imagining this future self, your brain is creating it. There is a neural pathway there and it's starting to see it. And the more you can fuel that neural pathway with positive emotion and you supercharge this neural pathway because you're like, yes, I want to be that person now, all of a sudden little doors start to open in your awareness because you're like, I am now looking to make that come true. How does this person behave? What sort of environments does this person place themselves in? What sort of content are they consuming, right? Like I said early at the podcast, like I am in such a hunger mode to learn and grow, and I'm excited to share it with everybody. And I'm curious, like, how did I get back into that space again? Because it's not all year for me, right? It's right now. And what I know that I did recently is I started putting myself in a room of other like-minded individuals again who want to grow their business. And it got my wheels turning again. It got me super inspired. I got connected with different people who are also trying to do the same thing. And I am now surrounding myself with people who have the same energy as me. And it's contagious. It spills over and it's fueling me. It's like synergistic, right? And I invested in myself again. This is something that I only did once I was alcohol free. The very first time I invested in myself was when I hired a coach to get alcohol free, right? I actually was already like a couple weeks into being alcohol free, and I knew that I wanted to stay there. I was feeling so much better, and but I didn't know how to navigate my life. I didn't know what are the next steps and how to navigate the awkwardness, right? There was still a part of my brain that felt like I was sacrificing something I needed, and that I wasn't ever going to have fun again because I was still trying to stay in these same environments and just not drink. And the fact of the matter is like the environments need to change, right? They are going to grow with you, but you can intentionally place yourself in environments and surround yourself with people who are going to help you cultivate that mindset to go after what you want to go after. Okay, you cannot stay the same with the same mindset in the same environments and expect yourself to be ready to change, to be ready to grow, right? You are, again, looking at your external world that is going to shape you. Okay, you can do this mindset work, but if you're staying in the same environments and you're staying in the same external world and you're letting all of that dictate your priorities, you're not going to grow, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. So, what are you going to be intentional about changing? How do you start cultivating that? And for me, in this season, it was about getting inspired by somebody online, signing up for a new coaching course, and getting in the room with people that were inspiring me, people who already have what I want. And I'm like, how did you get there? What are you thinking? What are you saying? How can I want to talk to you? Like, it's inspiring to be around people who have already done what you want and are living the life you want, and you get to learn from them, right? And you get to have your mind opened in ways that you didn't even know that it was closed, right? That is mindset. If if you are telling yourself, I can't, I should, I would have, but this but is a big one, right? But then something is in the way. There is a story you are telling yourself subconsciously that is blocking you from this type of growth. And how do we uncover that story? How do we rewrite it? Start putting yourself around people that are doing it. It's a really exciting place to get into that mindset of growth, that I'm eager to change. And you know what? The biggest thing about growth that scares people, that puts people off, and then they don't want to, like, they're like, ugh, they think it's going to be uncomfortable. And it is, because growth, right, is inherently uncomfortable. It is outside of your comfort zone. Your brain loves efficiency, right? That's how our brain operates. It's trying to conserve energy for tasks that it doesn't know how to do. So all the things that it can put on autopilot, all the things that it can be cued in the environment. Oh, right, we're in this environment, cue this little loop. Now we can put that on autopilot and we can get back to focusing on any sort of new things over here, right? That is how we craft the new environment that is going to trigger our brain in a different way. It's going to require us to behave differently. It starts with your internal environment, the thoughts you are telling yourself. It's also fueled by the external environment, the people, the places, the content you're consuming. How can you allow your brain to have a different experience, a different thought? And again, being really intentional about the thoughts you want to have. What is the future you that is living the life that you want? How do they talk to themselves? Are they saying, I should get up and do yoga. Or are they saying, like, I get up and do yoga every morning because that's what makes my body and brain feel really, really good. I know I might sound a little crazy to you guys, but I get up at 5:30 every day, even in the summer, so that I can go and get my workout in. And I hadn't been doing yoga since pre-COVID, but I got back into yoga. Again, this is another part of growth for me. It's like a new habit, a new ritual for me of getting and going to either a 6 a.m. or a 6:30 yoga. I'm meeting new people. There's community there. And I'm like, I'm in a room with other people that like to wake up and get after it at 6 a.m. That energy is contagious. That energy is inspiring. I'm looking around being like, they made good choices last night because they knew they want to come here, right? That is inspiring. That is powerful. The music, the energy, the community, it's amazing. And then I get to come home before my kids wake up. My husband's traveling for work. Get them their breakfast. We're watching some Olympics this morning. We're getting inspired. We were watching women's rugby, by the way. Nothing short of just badass. Ilona Mayer, if you have watched her, she's this American. She's got a huge following on, like, TikTok and Instagram, over 1 million followers. She is amazing. She's so inspirational. She's such a powerful voice for women out there, body positive, all the things. She's just great. Go follow her. Um, my boys, I'm like, look at her. I love her. She's awesome. And then she lives up to it. She's like charging and she's like stiff arming people like a football player and scoring. I mean, she lives up to the hype, you guys. She's amazing. So again, watch some Olympics. Get inspired by people at the pinnacle of their sport, right? Who have somehow trained their bodies and their minds to be able to compete at this level. I love the Olympics for that regard because it's just like, wow, to see the extremes, to see the limits of human potential is really exciting and extreme. And then it's like, you know what? I can go do a cold plunge. I can sit in this cold plunge for 3 minutes after watching these Olympians just do amazing things. Like, and all I'm asking myself to do is like sit in this cold plunge. Girl, you can do it, right? You did a little yoga this morning in a heated room and now you're doing a cold plunge, which, by the way, that contrast therapy, so good. So good to put our bodies into those types of extremes. And it's how I turn on my internal pharmacy. It's how I start healing. This is something I get into in my one-on-one coaching is I really help people start to learn how to biohack. And again, in a way that doesn't feel like you're checking a box. It doesn't feel like work. Yes, it's work. Yes, we are pushing on the pain side so that our brain delivers lots of feel-good stuff, lots of feel-good chemistry, right? But most people are pushing on the pleasure side constantly. They're drinking alcohol. They're eating the bad food. They're zoning out, scrolling on Instagram. Don't get me wrong. I'm guilty of all those things too, right? Except alcohol. Definitely don't touch that anymore. But when you're constantly pushing on that pleasure side, the brain is like, hey, we need equilibrium. You're over delivering on this side. We are going to now give you some pain. Whatever the drug delivers, the brain responds in the opposite. So if you think alcohol is curing your anxiety temporarily, the brain delivers with adrenaline and cortisol and raises your anxiety and stress. It's like a seesaw. And so what biohacking does is we stress our body in a healthy way. It's called hormetic stress, pushing on that pain side a little bit, the heat, the cold. And what does the brain do? It course corrects and it comes back with lots of feel-good chemistry, in addition to like all of this regenerating, healing stuff. It's just incredible. And it's another way to, especially once you're alcohol free, to really build some foundational health. It helps with hormones. The other biohacking skill I really go into deeply is fasting, because that is another just big reset for your overall health that has profound benefits. So again, that's my one-on-one coaching. But the mindset, you guys, it all starts changing your environments internally, externally. Who are you surrounding yourself with? The content you're consuming. And if you can't start to initiate that type of change in yourself, get around people who are. Listen to people who are. Go for a walk with somebody who is doing the thing that you want to do. Okay? Get outside that comfort zone. That is where the growth lives. And a lot of times I talk to people about this too. Sometimes the fear of the discomfort, you look at it and you're anticipating it and it looks like this huge ocean. I forget where I saw this or heard this. If it's a famous quote somewhere, please let me know. I'd love to find it and be able to like credit it. But a lot of times fear looks like you're just standing at the like edge of this ocean and it's just super deep, right? And you're about to step in and you're like, oh my God, it's never ending. I'm going to be stuck like treading water forever. And then you take that first step and you realize it's only a couple inches deep. And you're like, oh, so it's an illusion. What is on the other side of that fear? What is on the other side of that first step? It is a lot less scary than you think, right? A lot of times the friction of just that first step, that inertia it takes to get over your fear and to be like, I'm committed, I'm doing this. All of a sudden you're like, okay, I took that first step. I'm here. It's not so bad. It's okay. I can do this. And you stay in it. And how do you stay in it again? You need support. You need people around you who are encouraging you. You need an environment that is going to cue you to continue to do the thing, right? If you are showing up in the same way every day, the same people in the same environments, digesting the same shitty content, nothing's going to change. How are you being intentional about the change you want? How are you crafting your environments? How are you cultivating a mindset that is open, that is ready for growth? That is all I have for you today, you guys. It has been exciting to record this one because I'm fired up. It's probably the hot yoga. It's probably the cold plunge I did. It's probably that Olympics I'm watching that makes me feel like a champion just by watching. Ah, I love it. It's been a fun summer. Um, where can you find me? I want to invite you in. I am looking for people to hop on a market research call, you guys. If you want to help a girl out, I am in the process of creating a new signature program. Right now, I have the Brave course, which is your guide to kickstart your break from alcohol, and it is heavy on the mindset shifts that need to happen. Consider the Brave like boot camp for the brain to get you in a mindset that you can challenge your relationship to alcohol and cut it. The next course, and these are designed to be sequential, is the Balance Challenge. And that is about all of the foundational healing and wellness that takes place when you start hormone balancing. Every woman should know this information. We need to completely rewrite the story that we've been telling ourselves about our hormonal health, that hormones make us crazy, that you need to take a pill to balance your hormones, and that sometimes you're just unlucky. Like, oh, you have bad PMS, you have acne, you have sore boobs, you have rage. Oh, I guess that's just what being a woman is. No, wrong. You can completely and intentionally balance it naturally, holistically, with nutrition, with lifestyle. It's incredible and it's such a game changer for women and something everyone should be doing, especially if you are in perimenopause. The next course I'm building, and this is where I need the market research help, is I think it's going to be called Bliss. So we've got Brave, Balanced, Bliss, and it's really about building a life, an alcohol-free life, hormone balancing, biohacking to heal, and literally cultivating awe and joy, inspiration, and staying in that growth mindset all the time. So it's really like it's like the culmination of everything I have learned into another signature program. So I would love to pick your brain about that, what kind of content you want to see, how the format you want it delivered in. All of the questions, help a girl out so I can build something that you guys are like, yes, I want that. I want to know everything about that. Teach me. And there'll be a community. There will be a community of coaches that you can ask. And I'm so excited to build this and to deliver it to you guys. So thank you as always for showing up. And as always, I am with you. Let's go. Bye. Hey, you've just listened to an episode of Find Myself Free. And if some part of this left you wanting more, if your curiosity has been piqued and your intuition is telling you, I'm ready for more, then check out my coaching offers at findmyselffree.com. I have the Brave course to help you break free from booze, and I designed this course with the exact lessons that led to my transformation. I also have the Balance Challenge for those ready to learn the art of cycle syncing to balance their hormones. If you're looking for additional support and to take either of these programs to the next level, I also offer one-on-one coaching. Now, I worked with a coach for 4 months at the start of my alcohol free journey, and it made all the difference. Being able to talk to someone who knew what I was going through and could help me navigate my new world gave me a foundation of support I could build on. And it's a big reason why I'm a coach today. I want to help others find their freedom and level up their health. If this sounds good to you, connect with me at findmyselffree.com and set up a call. Listen to your intuition that is telling you you were meant for more. I am with you. You got this.